What's up, internet? My name's Ori. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button, and if you like this video, hit that like button. We are doing our Big Brother 23 Day 4 live feed updates, and it was the veto competition. As you can see over here on the chart, we already have our veto winner listed, and if you watched last video, you would know probably worst case scenario for HOH Frenchie was Derek X winning veto. And guess who won veto? Derek X. So things were a bit crazy. First off, let's get into the veto competition because there's a little bit of controversy, but I think I know what was going on with it. We'll find out more actually in tonight's episode. So there was only actually 6 chips in the veto bag, which, if you know anything about the veto competitions and how veto players are picked, that's not how it works. Everybody's name's in the bag, right? Except for the HOH and the 2 nominees. So there should have been like 13 in there. So what we think, right, what I think, and what the internet's kind of speculating, because we don't know this for sure, is that the punishment came into play. If you remember, Julie said that there would be these safety competitions or these offer competitions, right? And if somebody took the offer and they won the competition, there would also be a punishment for the house. We haven't seen what the punishment is, but we know that Christian is immune from the wild card competition. So what we're thinking is that by him taking the wild card, it put a punishment on the house that about half of them weren't going to be eligible for the veto. How that was figured out of who was eligible, who wasn't, I don't know. The players for the veto were maybe worst case scenario as well for HOH Frenchie. Travis was selected, Derek X was selected, and let me pull up my notes here on who else was selected. I believe it was Tiffany, which it would have been okay for Frenchie. Him and Tiffany have a slightly good relationship, which we'll get into in our alliance breakdown as well. So Derek wins the veto, and he was being pushed by a lot of people to make sure he uses this veto. Whether he'll use it or not, we really don't know. If he does use it, it seems like he would use it on Kai. Kai would come down, and Travis would be put up as the replacement nominee. But why he would do that, I'm not 100% sure, since he's pretty much closest aligned with Travis. So again, we'll see how this goes, whether or not he'll actually use the veto or not. It's kind of up in the air. Now, let's kind of break down some of the alliances, some of the changes that have been going on, where I think people's alliances kind of lie, and all that. So first off, the cookout. I've made Kyland a little bit bigger, his picture a little bit bigger on the cookout to represent that he's a bigger part of it now than he was kind of previously. He knows the name of it. He is involved with it. Hannah is still kind of connected. She doesn't actually know the name of the alliance. She hasn't, I don't think, officially been invited yet, but they are definitely looking out for her. So she is definitely all up in there too, but Kyland is much more a part of the alliance than her at the moment. The Butchers and the Slaughterhouse is still that giant alliance. Nothing really changes there. Firefighters as well. Still going. I'm not 100% sure how close that's going to be, how much it's going to last, right? What's going to go on and what the implications will be with that alliance and the veto. Hopefully we find out some more information in tonight's episode about what's really going on in some of these Houseguests' head. Probably the biggest update is the Sirens, the all-girls alliance, Britini, Tiffany, Azah, and Claire. That was kind of solidified today officially. They got a name and all that kind of stuff. So that is a nice looking alliance right there of really strong women, and not just women, but players in the game. I think all of them have some really good connections around the house and really kind of know what they're doing. Now, underneath all that, we've got kind of 3 groupings here that it's not like they have a name, but they are strong type bonds, right? So obviously you have Derek X and Travis there. They're a tight duo, pretty much a final 2, but if Derek X uses the veto, his duo member will go up, his final 2 will go up, his ride or die, so to speak, will be put on the block. So whether or not he actually uses it or not, we'll have to see about that. We also have the trio of Whitney, Frenchie, and Tiffany. And this one actually kind of formed on day one. They kind of pulled him to the side and were like, hey, you know, we want to talk to you and be a part of this, right? We want to have like a good like trio of communication. And definitely Whitney and Frenchie have a really strong bond. In fact, they were the last ones up last night, pretty much laying in bed talking about the game and just life in general, and talking about how much they trust each other in this game. So Whitney and Frenchie, very close. You also have right underneath that Frenchie and Brent. Now, Brent has been trying to wiggle his way into Frenchie's good graces pretty much since he became HOH. I don't know how strong this bond actually is, where their alliances actually lie. That's to be seen. One interesting information. So we have the cookout, right? And Derek F is involved with that. But he lied to Azah. So Azah isn't in the butchers or the slaughterhouse, right? But she straight up asked Frenchie, asked Derek F, is there a big alliance? And he said no. So he's not actually telling her about the butchers and the slaughterhouse, which you would think he'd be very open about, like, oh yeah, Frenchie's doing this whole thing with half the house. And he's not doing that. And I find that fascinating a little bit, that he's not divulging that information to her. So that's weird to me. I don't know if Derek is just covering his bases a little bit, but I mean, Xavier's in there, Kyland's in there. So I don't know. It seems to be a weird move. It might be something that causes some friction with Derek F going forward. I hope not, because again, I really like Derek F, and I thought he was going to be one of my favorites. He still is. He's hilarious inside the house. I just don't know. I don't know his strategy with not telling her about that big alliance, because she's going to find out about it, and she pretty much knows about it anyway. That was another interesting thing. So Frenchie and Derek, after he won the veto, Derek X that is, after he won the veto, they had a conversation up in the HOH room, and it was a little awkward at times. People were coming in and being like, oh, hey, and he's like, oh, hold on a second, HOH and veto holders, we're talking, right? And he ignored many people that wanted to kind of talk to him and stuff like that, just so he could have this conversation with Derek. And that conversation went on, it seemed forever. I saw a great meme. Somebody took Derek X and he made him old, and it's like, speaking to Frenchie, it took 48 years. It's like, poor Derek. And Frenchie came off very hypocritical, and he was lying to Derek pretty much the whole time, and Derek could tell he was lying pretty much the whole time. Derek was saying things, Frenchie was saying things to Derek like, oh yeah, you know what? Early in the game, you don't want to actually form alliances. You just want to form bonds with people. Forming alliances, it's way too early for that. Dude, you've got an alliance with pretty much the whole house. Like, at this point, you're pretty much in a giant alliance with everybody. And he also said, he pretty much even outed this to Derek, right? He's like, yeah, you know what? Remember that group I had up here in the HOH room the other night? He's like, that's pretty much the group. And Derek's like, that's the whole house. And he's right, because it was the whole house. Like, pretty much the whole house, except for like Derek and Travis, like, were up in the room at that time. It's like, I don't know what Frenchie thinks he's really doing. And as somebody who's supposed to be a fan of the show, who was big on Twitter, I'm shocked. I'm truly shocked that it's gone this way. And I'm guessing the power just went to his head, and he just doesn't see it happening. I don't know. It's interesting. It really is interesting. But now it's all about, will Derek use the veto? Will Derek use the veto? We're going to see the nominations. We're going to see the forming of the slaughterhouse and the butchers, and hopefully the cookout, hopefully the firefighters. I don't know if we'll get the sirens tonight, but we'll definitely get a lot of really good stuff, and I can't wait to see the DRs in the episode tonight and really get an idea of what's been going on inside the house. that really kind of covers it for yesterday. Other than that, let me just kind of look over the notes. I think that's pretty much all the big things that happened. Again, apparently Derek had promised if he won the veto that he would use it. But again, look, man, you can promise whatever you want, but it's your veto to do what you want, right? You don't have to listen to the HOH, especially an HOH who seems to be a little bit of a mad king right now. So we'll see how that goes. Also, something that's interesting is Whitney did tell Christian, right? Because there was the whole idea of like the big fish, right? You got to get the big fish out. The original threat and the original big fish was Christian, but he won the wild card, right? So he wasn't able to be looked at all, right? But yet Christian's in the butchers. And again, that's why it's so crazy to me that the two people that Frenchie put up are in his alliance. The person who was supposed to be the target is in his alliance. I'm at a loss. I'm at a loss for all that. It's really interesting to see that all happen. Oh, one more thing that was kind of funny. Last night, Tiffany, Whitney, and Frenchie went around the house and they were pulling pranks on everybody. They were spraying shaving cream into people's hands, spraying it on their foots as they were sleeping. So that was pretty entertaining to see last night as everybody else was going to bed. But yeah, other than that, that pretty much covers it for day 4. Tomorrow will be a great episode here. Episode on my channel. It's going to be an episode tonight. I'm going to be reviewing the second episode of the season, going over again more of the information that we find out from the live feeds tomorrow. And yeah, it's going to be a good time. So make sure if you aren't subscribed, you hit that subscribe button so you never miss a video. If you like this video, hit that like button. You can also follow me over on Twitter at Ori Streams, as well as on Twitch. Twitch.tv/Ori Streams. Pretty cool place where we hang out. We were playing Goose Goose Duck last night. Played a little Dead by Daylight with some friends. So make sure you follow over there as well. Links are all in the description. Once again, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time.